If you're familiar with leasing in the USA, you'll find the process quite similar across the states. However, today I'll be diving into the leasing process in Central Texas, particularly around Austin, Texas. For those moving from Europe or other countries, this one is for you. Here are the topics I'll be covering in more detail: general lifestyle in Austin, road conditions and transportation, renting options, house, condos, townhome versus apartment complexes, qualification criteria for renting, the role of realtors in the process, and I'll summarize everything at the end with some tips. There's a lot to cover, so stick around for some valuable insights. Keep in mind, while I'm discussing typical scenarios, exceptions and creative solutions are also possible. For those that don't know me yet, my name is Gabi Vitui. I'm a realtor with eXp Realty, serving the Austin and surrounding areas. Don't forget to hit the like button if you find this information valuable and share it with other people as well. So let's dive in. General lifestyle in Austin. Austin is known for its laid-back atmosphere, live music scenes, flip-flops wearing, outdoor recreational activities, and culinary delights. The city embraces a mix of urban sophistication and natural beauty with plenty of parks, trails, and green spaces to explore. Residents enjoy a warm climate with very hot summers at times. Lately, it's been very hot, and somewhat mild winters, making outdoor activities popular almost all year round. It is very dog friendly, so don't be surprised to see many people with their dogs. Road conditions and transportation. There are two main highways that run from north to south through Austin, Texas, which is I-35 and Mopac Expressway, which is also called Loop 1. Those can experience heavy traffic during rush hours, and if you ask me, it seems like it's been rush hour all the time, every day. There are many people who moved to this wonderful city. Compared to Europe or even New York City, transportation in Austin is notably car-centric. While public transit exists, owning a car is often more convenient due to the city's layout and the predominant presence of suburbs. With numerous suburban areas spread out across the city, there are limited concentrated areas where amenities such as grocery stores, shopping centers, or trails are within walking distance. Some of those pedestrian-friendly areas are downtown Austin, The Domain, and Miller. Not Mueller. It's spelled Mueller and it's pronounced Miller. In other words, public transportation is not great. Let's look at the renting options, houses versus apartments. The number one difference is that houses, condos, townhomes are owned by an individual, obviously the owner, and most times are managed by the owner. An apartment complex is a business with an office and staff on site. Renting a house offers more space, privacy, and often a yard, but may require more maintenance by the tenant. Apartment complexes typically offer amenities like pools, gyms, and maintenance services, but with less space and potentially more noise from neighbors. Now the fun part, qualification criteria. The big question is, how can someone qualify to rent in the Austin area or anywhere in Texas? There are some general guidelines, and I'll go over the most common situations. Remember that these are in general terms, and there could be exceptions, of course. Landlords require applicants to meet certain criteria, which include proof of income, a credit check, rental history. Be prepared to pay a non-refundable application fee for each applicant 18 years or older who will be occupying the property. There could be some other fees too, plus security deposit, pet deposit or fees, and even pet rent once you're approved. Usually, the qualification process takes between 3 to 7 days depending on the parties' responses and documentation provided. Now, what is needed and what is checked? Be prepared to provide a copy of your identification, and a passport with a visa can also be used. Proof of employment, like pay stubs or an offer letter, copies of bank statements or tax returns, photos of pets if you have pets, and other documents requested by the landlord. Background checks are standard procedure for prospective tenants. These checks typically encompass criminal history, credit history, and debt, and rental eviction history. Landlords often require tenants to have a gross income that is at least 3 times the monthly rent amount. This ensures that tenants have sufficient financial stability to afford the rental payment. This could be combined income of all the applicants, and there could be situations where a larger savings account could substitute part of the income requirements. While a credit history is typically required, individuals without a credit history, such as newcomers to the country, students, or younger generation, may still be able to rent by providing alternative forms of financial verification. Good rental history is key if you have a rental history. Most times they look back at the last 2 years of rental history, meaning that your current and past landlords would be asked if you were a responsible tenant. For those without a rental history in the United States, landlords may require alternative references or documentation from your home country. This could include letters from previous landlords, proof of residency, or rental agreements from your country, as this is pretty hard to verify or to go through the trouble to translate lengthy documents. In certain situations, individuals may encounter challenges such as a less than perfect credit score, spotty rental history, or even the absence of any credit or rental background. Understandably, these circumstances may prompt landlords to exercise caution. However, many landlords are flexible and willing to work with tenants facing such challenges. They may offer alternative solutions such as accepting a higher security deposit, allowing payment of several months' rent in advance, permitting a cosigner or guarantor, or a combination of these options. A cosigner or guarantor is a person who agrees to be financially responsible for the lease if you are unable to fulfill your obligations. They would also have to apply and pass the qualification criteria. In general terms, the security deposit is 1 month's rent, which the landlord will hold until you move out. Then is refundable fully or partially, depending on the condition you left the property. Apartment complexes might have different requirements regarding the deposit and could be more flexible on certain criteria since they are a business. What's included in rent, you may ask? In most cases, tenants are responsible for utilities such as electricity, water, and internet, in addition to rent. Yard maintenance is usually the tenant's responsibility for houses, while apartment complexes often handle common area upkeep. It's important to clarify these details with the landlord or property management company before signing a lease. The majority of homes and apartments are unfurnished, and the typical length to lease is 12 months. If brokers, and its realtors, are involved, who pays who? As of now, in most cases, if the landlord hired a listing broker and a realtor within that brokerage to market the property, a percentage of that commission is given from the listing broker to the tenant's broker. There are times that landlords want to market the property themselves. As a tenant, if you have a realtor representing you, the realtor will try to negotiate that compensation from the landlord. But if the landlord refuses, the tenant, aka you, will have to pay that commission. Some regulations could be changing in the near future, so please have always a detailed conversation with your realtor. We're going through everything, including the representation documents and the commission fees. Are you still with me? I know it's lengthy, but if you have found valuable information so far, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with other friends of yours. Let's summarize some main items and I'll sprinkle in some tips too. You can have a realtor representing you if you want to. Have all the documents ready. Be upfront if you have a unique or different situation. You might want to write a letter explaining that unique situation. It might help you. Be prepared to pay the application fee and sometimes compete with other applicants. Have your financial situation in order and consider all the expenses involved, including the moving cost and connecting the utilities and so forth. Be clear on the move-in date. If the property is vacant, the landlord might not want to hold it too long till you start paying rent. If there is a current tenant in place, see when you can move in. Whether you're a landlord or a tenant, if you have questions or need representation, don't hesitate to reach out. Your rental experience in the live music capital of the world awaits. Let's make it a smooth and successful one together. Until next time.